Good morning. Just gonna make a brief video on something. So I happened to notice something in a little social experiment I did on myself that I wanted to discuss. Um, I have long known that like social media eats up your free time and is really bad for your attention span, especially if you have like ADHD and autism and those sorts of things. But for really any person, it's just not good for your life in general. I was also aware that in smartphones there is a way to limit your time doing so. And I realized that I hadn't been using that, so I started using that. And it's kind of come with some revelations and things that I've thought about and kind of connected the dots on some stuff. Um, so I'm pretty sure iPhone has this, but I have Android, so I'm sorry if I'm not showing you the stuff correctly. If you have a different phone than I do, I'm pretty sure that iPhone has this as well. Actually, I'm almost certain I've read that iPhone does, but essentially in your phones, there should be something that will allow you to see the amount of time in the day you spend looking at your phone and on what things you do. So, also in those, you can set timers. I have set timers for mine. Let me see. It shows here. And in Android, if you go into apps, it's under screen time. And then in the screen time, this takes you to this dashboard to see the amount of time. This is 6 fucking hours of my day, even with the limitations that I've set so far. I got my Instagram under an hour. It's just sad. Under an hour for Instagram. I'm whittling Reddit down too. Reddit's not as bad for the things I'm about to discuss, but basically, here's my takeaway on this. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this stuff, but essentially back in 2018, there was a thing called the Cambridge Analytica data scandal. Can I talk this morning? Basically, a lot of bad stuff that Facebook was up to that's not good for your mental health. Um, they did a lot of bad stuff in the election stuff as well, which you can feel free to read the Wikipedia article. But the one particular piece that I wanted to focus on, and I don't think it's in the Wikipedia article, and I would love to find a better link for you on this, but essentially, one of their internal employees came out as a whistleblower, specifically talking about how they use their content to manipulate you. Because what they had found is that in social media, well, in social media, the amount of time you spend on the screen is the money they make from you because they can show you more advertisements and more shit. They had found through psychology that people who are angry are more engaged in content. That's pretty a common sense thing because when you think about it, like if you're happy, like you're not going to be fooling around on social media. If you're pissed off, you'll probably be on there more. That's just a fact, and they did indeed realize that, and then they weaponized that, and that they were intentionally showing people content that was negative to, like, I guess you could say, trigger them, so they'll stay on there longer. We've known this since 2018. There was a bit of backlash, but not as big as it should have been, because you're literally seeing, what is this telling you? Social media is literally manipulating you. It is bad for your mental health. Period. Fucking end. That is the conclusion here. It is bad for your mental health. They make you stick with it because you give the excuse of, I want to see Susie's, bridal shower pictures. Fine. Well, guess what? There's a thing where you can limit your time. I can assure you that in 15 minutes in your day, you will be able to see Susie's bridal shower pictures. In 20 minutes a day, you can see those pictures. You can see pictures of your friend's dog and all those things that you are there for. But a limit is set because you cannot sit here and tell me that this is healthy or good. This is not healthy or good. This is my phone. This is me. This is not good. This is time of my day. My science experiment that I did was I cut my time down. And as I did, I started to notice some things. And real quick, because we're only like 4 minutes in this video, is that if you are in the following category, if you're not living from paycheck to paycheck, if you have a roof over your head, if you have food and you're not worried about eating food, someone's not coming to get you, but you're very unhappy, and your life in general, you need to fucking pay attention to this. I'm not saying it's going to fix everything forever, but I'm saying this is something you need to be aware of, and you can make your own decisions on what you want to do with this information. You're a rational adult who can make decisions, so I'll just give you some information. What I had noticed on my Instagram was that when I was really feeling more depressed, was I started to notice, and I know it's because I would click some kind of, I call them memes, but they're not like funny memes. They're like, information. Some of them were pretty positive stuff, which was what I was engaging in because it was more about like stoicism and these things that I've talked about as far as like finding positive ways to deal with your life. But with that came the garbage. Big surprise because the fucking shit's manipulating you. With the information on Buddhism and Stoicism came a lot of toxic information that I wouldn't have recognized if I wasn't kind of like becoming educated on mental health due to my therapy and due to the books that I've been reading that have been given to me by my therapist that are basically like written by the who's who of the mental health practice these days to tell you like positive things to do to fix your mental health situation. Because of that, I recognized some bad shit. I was recognizing a lot of content that was like, you need to do blah, blah, blah to weed the negative things out of your life. And I started to recognize this is literally avoidant behavior that people in trauma do that does not help them heal, that actually makes them stay in that traumatized state. Because you actually have to face your emotions. You have to face things head on to deal with them, to grow and heal from them. It is giving you unsound mental health advice. I didn't do anything to grab the bad mental health advice other than the good mental health advice. It was just that Instagram just fucking shoved it in my face. And I recognized that like as I started to utilize these timers and get it down, because it was higher than this number here. As I started to utilize these timers, I started to feel better about myself and I started to feel better in general. So that was a thing that I noticed. And I'm like, oh, I put two and two together. Because as I was more away from it and I poked my head in there, I'm like, this is fucking trash. If it's recommending it to me, it's recommending shit like that to you too. I'm sure it may not be that specific sort of stuff, but these things are tools that are made to make your mental health worse, so you use them more. I can't spell this out any further for you. I'm not saying that you have to totally throw them away. It would be best for you if you did, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. I am going to say that why don't you look at this? Well, I want you to make your own decision. I want you to go in your phone and look at the amount of time you are spending on these things. I want you to look at that information. I had spent on Monday, July 10th, 6 hours on this shit. Okay. And that what and then you compare that to the things that you need to do. What are the things you need to do? Look at you have your to-do list of things you want to get accomplished. You have this amount of screen time. Does this ratio work for you or not? If you see a thing that you're not, if you see the amount of time you spend on the screen and you spend the amount of time that you spend on your phone, if you're not happy with this ratio, do you want to do something about it? If you want to, there are timers in your phone that you can set to say that I'm going to whittle a little off every day on these apps, and you can reclaim your day back. Since I have done this, I am now reading books that I have been like for a month or two. I'm like, I want to read this book, and I never did because I was dicking off on stupid apps. I'm doing more things around the house. I'm like, oh, I want to get this accomplished because I'm not dicking off on stupid apps as much. I am more fulfilled with what I'm doing to spend the time in my day since I'm not seeing the shit that's polluting my brain and making me not feel good. I want you to take that information in your head and think about it and see what you decide to do with your life because I am flat out telling you this shit is bad for your mental health. It's eating the time in your day. If you're fine with that, then I guess you're fine with that. If you're not happy with that, if you'd like things to be better, then I want you to consider the fact that you can limit these things and start to take your day back and start to take your well being back by just whittling one little fucking parasite off your neck. So there's my information for today. Hey, we kept it under 10 minutes. I hope you'll have a nice afternoon and I hope you learned something.